All right. So first of all, thank you all for being here. I hope you'll find tonight valuable. Try to make it as valuable as possible for you. Before we get into the actual strategies for exercise, how to work out, we're going to cover all of those things. But first I want to cover the logic behind why we absolutely need to be exercising if we want health. And if we really want to achieve our goals in life, we need health. So really, we have to be exercising if we want to achieve our goals in life. And if we look, now I believe everything was created for a purpose, but if you look at your body, you begin to see that parts of our body were all created each for a purpose. So including you. So the purpose of the heart, what would that be?
Pump blood.
Pump blood, right? If we look at the purpose of your lungs, oxygen, and to breathe. Now, what is the purpose of your stomach digestion, your intestines digestion, your eyes is to see, your ears, your liver detox, your spleen helps to remove old blood cells, your pancreas helps to, so you see each one of these organs and every different structure in your body has a different purpose. Does that make sense? So, when we understand the definition of health, and health is the optimal functioning of the body, if you look at the World Health Organization's very own definition of health, they say health is the optimal functioning of the body physically, mentally, spiritually, but not merely the absence of sickness or disease. That is the definition of health. So if we take that first part, health is the optimal function of the body, and we believe that every part of the body was created for its purpose, right? Then it's important that each of these organs, each of these structures in our body, that they fulfill their purpose. How many hearts do we have? One. And is it important that your heart pumps for you to be healthy? Yes. How many lungs do we have? Well, you could say one or two lobes, right? And is it important that you breathe for you to be healthy? Yes. All right. So what about stomachs? Unless you're a cow, you only have one stomach. But what does it do? It's important that that stomach digests in order for you to be healthy, right? So we could say that we could go on and do this with every part of our body. But what's the purpose of a joint? Movement, yep, mobility. So our joints help us. If we didn't have any joints, we'd be stuck, right? We couldn't move at all. So do you know how many joints you have in your body? 360 joints in your body. Do you know how many muscles you have in your body? And the purpose of a muscle, obviously, is to move the joint. So how many muscles do we have? 640 muscles. So if you have one heart, one brain, one stomach, but you have over 360 muscles and 640, I got those backwards, you have over 640 muscles and 360 joints, more than any other structures in your body. And so we saw that every other organ has to function and do its purpose in order for you to be healthy. Then don't you think it's important that we have to move? We have to actually move in order to sustain health. That those joints and those muscles have to actually fulfill their purpose in order for us to stay healthy. So that's really the logic behind why we have to exercise. But let's look at other reasons. So we need to have a certain level of fitness just for safety. And so if you think about if you were stuck in a burning building, that you'd have to climb out a window or climb down the stairs, or what if you had to help someone else out or your kid out of a burning building, or God forbid if we were in a car accident and someone had to run for help. We'd be able to do those things if we have a certain level of fitness. And I always remember a story, and this actually happened not to someone I knew, but to a patient in my office. It was one of their really good friends. They went down to Galveston for the summer, and this was several years back, right? And he was just like a lot of us, like a lot of Americans, and he was very out of shape, very overweight dad. And his son was playing off of a pier and was playing in the water, and he got sucked out on a riptide or a current and got sucked out. And so his dad saw him screaming and yelling for help. And so, of course, like any parent would, he jumps in, he tries to swim over there. And I guess he got to his son, but he had nothing. He was so fatigued, so out of shape, so tired that both of them actually went under. The lifeguard got to him and pulled him to, and they were able to resuscitate him, but his son didn't make it. And so and of course, hindsight's 20/20, there's no fault there at all, but it makes me want to look ahead and say, if I was in a situation like that, I want to make sure that I have enough fitness to be able to pull someone out, to be able to save someone if I need to, right? Much less even save myself. So it's very important that we have fitness just for function. But let's look at fitness for prevention. So these are just some of the things that we found that exercise helps or gives you a benefit: weight loss, more energy, immune system, blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, stroke, chronic conditions, strengthens your heart, keeps blood vessels clear, boosts your mood, of course helps you stay active and independent as you age. And then also there's been some studies that show people who are a bit more fit actually live longer. Okay? So those are all some reasons. But what about fitness for relief? Well, there's actually some different things that fitness helps, like heart disease. They say regular exercise can help improve your heart health, and recent studies have shown that interval training is often tolerated well in people with heart disease. So even if we already have these types of diseases like heart disease or diabetes, regular exercise can help us regulate our insulin levels better. Asthma, often exercise can help control the frequency and severity of asthma attacks. Back pain, and that's a big one for people. Regular low-pack aerobic, so cardiovascular exercise can increase strength and endurance in your back and improve muscle function. And then, Terry, you were pointing out earlier how if you strengthen and tighten your stomach muscles, that helps when you're lifting or when you're bending. So if we strengthen those muscles, like the abdominal and back muscles for exercises like core strengthening, that helps to reduce symptoms by strengthening those muscles around the spine. Okay? Arthritis, we talked about that as well. Exercise can reduce pain with arthritis and help maintain muscle strength in those affected joints. So I wanted to show some actual studies. So it's not just me up here going, exercise can help you. So the researchers, they actually had a huge number, thousands of subjects, and they followed them over several years. And they found out that regular exercise lowers the risks for cancers like breast cancer and colon cancer specifically. Okay? Then we look at osteoporosis, and we probably knew this, but people who exercise had less chance of osteoporosis. And in these studies, they actually found that people who do nothing have a higher risk for bone fracture, period. Okay? So exercise strengthens those bones and prevents osteoporosis. Depression. I have to read this one because this was an amazing study. They took 3 groups of depressed patients, and they split them up into one group got aerobic exercise, so they did cardiovascular exercise. The next group they received medication for their depression, and then the third group received the medication and the exercise. All right. So then they followed up with them in 16 weeks, and now this is interesting. So in 16 weeks, 60 to 70% of the patients in all 3 groups had seen decreased in symptoms and were no longer classified as having major depression. So you look at that same all the way through those 3 groups, but that in itself shows that exercise works just as well as medication for treating depression, right? But then if we just stopped there, that would be great, and that would be amazing. But then they did a follow-up. A follow-up study 6 months later with those same people showed that the effects of exercise lasted longer than those that took the antidepressants, and those who exercised were less likely to relapse back into depression, right? So very important for people. And there's a lot of people that, we have a lot of stress in today's day and age. So there's a lot of that going around. Sometimes we don't feel like getting to the gym because we're depressed, but if we'll push through it and we'll get there, it'll give us benefits, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 areas. Anytime you're exercising, I exercise in 3 different areas. I call it cardio, resistance training, and flexibility, okay? So we start with cardio, and you can see cardio is an endurance exercise. It's going to increase your heartbeat. It's going to help it to beat faster. It's going to help flex, dilate, and constrict blood vessels. So it helps keep that. That's why they call it cardio, short for cardiovascular. Helps keep the blood and the circulatory system healthy. So the activity that gets your heart rate up to 50 to 75% of your maximum heart rate is classified as cardio. And it's a simple way to calculate whether you're, and you can get different wristbands, or you can actually, some of the exercise equipment you use at the gym, you'll be able to put your hand on it. It'll show you your heart rate. So your target heart rate that you're trying to get, what you do is you take 220 minus your age. So I'm 35, I would take 220 minus 35 would be 185. I would try to get my heart rate up to 185 when I do my cardio, okay? Now, I'll show you in just a second, we'll talk more about cardio, but all the studies I've read say anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes of cardio, so I tell people do at least 11, right? Resistance training. Now, a lot of people just do cardio and they just go for a walk, right? And unfortunately, that's not going to get everything that we need. Resistance training is very important. That's why we're going to do a little bit together in tonight's class, and you have those TheraBands. For people who don't want to go to the gym or maybe don't have time to go to the gym, we'll be able to do resistance training at home. So this is any form of exercise that forces your skeletal muscles. So skeletal muscles meaning not your involuntary muscles, right? Like your heart, lungs, those types of things, but your skeletal muscles to contract. It's an external resistance, so heavy weights, right, is used to cause the contractions. Those contractions lead to increase in muscular mass, strength, endurance, and tone. All right, so flexibility is one I always end with. A lot of people start with flexibility when they go to work out, but they've actually found that if you start with flexibility, then you loosen all of those joints, and you're actually more likely to be injured while you're doing those types of exercises. So instead of starting with flexibility, I would start with a warm-up. You know, something light, maybe a walk, some light resistance exercise, and get those muscles warm, but not necessarily the joints completely stretched out. We save flexibility to the end because that's where we cool down. Right? So flexibility training includes stretching exercises for the purpose of increasing one's range of motion. Over time, we can create body movements and posture habits that can lead to reduction in mobility in joints. You'll probably notice that if we're riding for a long car ride, if we have to do a lot of things in tight, cramped quarters, we get restricted. And so that's why we add flexibility into our workouts. All right, so your plan for fitness. I want you to leave tonight with a plan, okay? Now, I say work out every other day, and that's the optimal frequency to be on, because you're getting a workout, you're letting your body rest. You're getting a workout, you're letting your body rest. But that being said, I'll tell you, I don't stick to that 100%. In some cases, you can't, right? You have busy, 2 days in a row, you're super busy. The next day, you actually have off that you could get to the gym or you can exercise. So I really try to shoot for at least 3 to 4 days a week. And in my case, I try to hit 5 days a week because I know that I'm probably for sure getting 3 to 4, right? But I would try to do, if you can, every other day workout. And every time you go to the gym or every time you're working out, even at home, you want to start with cardio, go to resistance, end with flexibility. So if that would look like at home, you would go for a walk, maybe come back, do your band exercises that we're going to go over in just a second, would be your resistance, and then do some stretching or some yoga or something for cool down, and that would be your flexibility. All right, so really this is a mindset. You've just got to decide that there's no other option, that I'm going to make this happen. And I know with twins that life is not going to let you exercise when you want to, right? So there's some nights, I actually had to change. I had a gym membership at LA Fitness, and they close at like 9 p.m. at night, and the twins don't go to sleep until who knows when some nights. So I changed to 24-hour fitness, and some nights, if it's been a few days since I've exercised, I'll just go in the middle of the night and go do some cardio or go do some exercise, because it's a mindset thing that I will not go a whole week without exercising. It's just not going to happen. All right, so we make it a habit. It becomes a habit after we do it for a while. Let's start with cardio. Cardio is easy. I like cardio because what I do is I'll take my phone, I have a podcast or an audio book or something, and I'll put it in, and I'll do either the treadmill or the elliptical or even the seated bike, something at the gym there. If you're at home, it's simple. Just go for a walk, even walk around your house or your apartment, and just get the blood moving or go for a jog. Pick one that you like. Now, even a sport. I put sport up here because we had a patient earlier who said they were going to play tennis tonight. I was like, that's great. That's an awesome way to get your cardio. If you like, some people like what is it that they play at the gym in the little glass? Racquetball. That will, yeah, man, that's a great cardiovascular exercise. So if you enjoy something like that, then find that and then use it as your cardiovascular exercise. I think that's a great idea. And so at least spend 10 to 20 minutes, like I said. Days that I don't feel like being at the gym, I set the clock for 11 minutes on my treadmill because I'm getting more than 10. I know I'm getting that blood pumping, and we really need more than 10 to get cardiovascular benefit, okay? All right, so resistance training. So here's where we're going to go through some of the exercises together. Can you actually give me a band too? Or the one over here on the wall will work. Okay, so I created this workout with the doc for people who sometimes you really can't get to the gym, or you just don't want a gym membership. I understand the gym's dirty. Even when you have kids, it's hard because the kids thing is not open all the time. So we created this. These are the same exact resistance exercises that I do in the gym. But this is good too if I go on, like let's say I go on a trip, you could pop this in your bag. and it's very simple to be able to do a workout at the hotel room or something like that. So if you want, take out your TheraBand there. We're going to go through a couple. I'm going to show you how this works. Now what I do is I pick 2 muscle areas you'll see, and it's outlined in your packet there, and I do 2 exercises with each muscle area. So it's not crazy. It's not, it's not going to be something where you're just going to be foaming with sweat at the end of it, but it's going to get that blood moving and get you some resistance on your muscles. All right, so you'll notice in there, in your packet, day 1, and I created day 1, day 2, day 3, so that you could do day 1, skip a day 2, skip a day 3, skip a day 1, skip it. So you could just continue going every other day, and you just go day 1, day 2, day 3, back to day 1, day 2, day 3. All right, so if you're looking here, and if you want to do these with me, that would be cool. So I'm not the goofy one doing it by myself here. Okay? All right, so we're looking at alternating curls. All we do is take it, you'll hold the end of your band. Need some help? I'm just kidding.
More than you know.
Yours might be hard. You might need a longer band, huh? All right. So alternating curls. We're just going to do here, 1, 2. 1, 2. So the way I count those is 1, 2, and then 3. No. 1, 2, 2, 3. 2, 2. You can count those however you want to.
84,
3,
85.
Yeah, except for that way. All right, so we would do 10 of those for each bicep. Okay, and then you could do them simultaneously. So you're actually, it feels like the same, but you're working a little bit different stabilization muscles. So when you're doing one, your body, even though you don't realize it, you're stabilizing differently while you're doing those. All right, so day 1, if you can see, is biceps and back. So the next one, you're actually still standing on it, and all you do is bend your knees slightly, and then pull out to the sides. Yep. So you're getting traps, and so you can see, like Terry's doing, he's going to get a lot of the deltoid and top of the traps, and if you wanted to get more of your back, you would just bend over a little bit further, and you'd get more of your back there. So, and then your bent over rows, this is your back exercise too, except for you're just pulling here, and you're really getting more of your lower back, like your rhomboids and those types of. And you could do this exercise at the gym with weights. All you would do is bend over the bench and pick your weight up and do the same exact movement. So you can do home or gym. All right, let's move on to, I think it's chest and triceps. Yep. All right, so you want to bench press, but you don't want to go to the gym. We're here, and we're here. Now this is not like, bench pressing 225 pounds or anything, but it's getting those muscles moving. We're getting some resistance. And we're doing 3 sets of 10. And as warm as it is in here, everybody's going to be sweating by the end of it. There we go. All right. So we don't have to do all of these, but you can see, you can go through these. There's pictures in there. Your tricep extensions, your... And there's probably, you could actually Google TheraBand and exercises. I'm sure that you'd probably find even more exercises that you can do with your TheraBand. Now, one thing I would say is before you start, they always tell you to inspect the band. I have had these break, but it's like you're getting popped with a wet towel, so it's not too bad. So you want to inspect those bands. If you need another one, we have them here. You can even do squats with these, lunges and leg presses. You don't even need a TheraBand to do those types of things. Or your deltoid or your shoulder shrugs. So really, if you'll notice, we're getting day 1, biceps and back. Day 2, we're getting chest and triceps. And day 3, we're getting legs and shoulders. So we're getting every single large muscle group in your body. And what that does is when you're exercising those big, large muscle groups, you have no other choice but also to be strengthening your core at the same time because you're stabilizing every time you do those big muscle groups. Okay? Awesome. All right, so then our stretching and cool down. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So these are just some stretches I gave you. And again, you don't have to go through these. They're numbered, but you don't have to go through and do every single one of them. It's basically just stretching areas. You start from the upper, like your shoulders, and then you'll go to your back. Excuse me, your range of motion exercises that we give you, forward, back, side to side, rotation. We should be doing all of those. And then there's some other stretches that you can do while you're laying on a pad. Now these are very good to stretch out your lower spine, your hips. Even if you don't do a full exercise routine and you're cooling down, use these to cool down. But even if you just did these on a daily basis before you went to bed or when you first got up in the morning, then it helps to keep flexibility in those joints, and that's extremely important to help keep us fit because people who are less flexible are more prone for injury. Okay? Now, some tips while you're exercising, and if you do increase your activity, is make sure we're drinking water. This is a magical substance right here, and it can do amazing things. In fact, even if you're in a lot of pain and you drink a lot of water and get hydrated, a lot of times that in itself can help you feel better, just improving your hydration. But if you want to figure out how much water should I be drinking a day, you want to take your body weight in ounces and divide that by 2. So if I weigh 200 pounds, I should be taking that 200 to putting in 200 ounces, divide that by 2, I should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day. Okay? So a lot of times that's hard to do, but that's really, in water, our thirst mechanism over the years has really, it's just, I don't even like the word evolution, but it's really failed us as we go. So a lot of times we think we're hungry, we're really thirsty. And if we'll drink a lot of water, that'll even quench our hunger. All right, so here I am after a 90 days of intense exercise. So see, I wasn't always this good looking. But I thought I would throw that in because I did this was diet too, but it was just clean diet. It wasn't like we were on the Weight Watchers or something like that. It was clean diet and exercising 3 to 5 times a week. And if we do that over long periods of time, for me it did take a good 90 days. A lot of people want it in a week, right? But I remember in 90 days, then we I think I celebrated with a giant pizza. So workout supplements. A lot of people ask me what you would take. I say stick to your fruits and vegetables, but supplements are insurance only. Here's what I take. A whole food multivitamin. I believe whole food's important because it's not made in a lab. Whole food means they basically just took fruits and vegetables, I have all those, dehydrate them and put them into some kind of capsule form or packed vitamins. So whole food is important for your multivitamin. Fish oil, probiotic, vitamin D, and then water. Drink water like crazy, okay? Other supplements I use, protein powder. I do take a protein powder, especially when I'm lifting harder, but I use Vega. Vega's a vegetable-based protein powder, and I like it. I think it works really well. But the main thing is it doesn't have all those chemicals in it. Man, if you go to Vitamin Shop or somewhere, you can't find a protein powder without sucralose or some other types of...
But whey's okay?
Whey, yeah. Whey's okay. It is okay. Of course, I mean, there's some lactose stuff there. But if it's pure whey, I don't see a problem with that. They've really taken some bad stuff. And the only bad thing about milk is that it's so processed, right? So they basically just took the protein out of that. And if you're using a whey protein, I think that's a good thing. Essential oils, of course. In some cases, Gina is my go-to knowledge person for that. So, but a B complex as well. Sometimes I'll take that before I work out. Like beet juice has a lot of niacin in it, and it'll give you a pump, right? And you'll get your energy up and get ready to exercise. So
I've got organic beet juice that is crystallized. Just mix it in with
nice.
Water.
There you go.
Tastes good. It's like raspberry.
Well, have you ever tried the pre-workout stuff that they have? It's like, you're just like this. You can't sleep. If you take it at night, like you will not fall asleep. It just pumps you up. They put niacin in that, is what they do. Yeah, it's almost pure niacin. It just gets it vasodilates all your blood vessels, so it gets massive blood pumping to all your muscles.
I took niacin one time. Think that it was okay.
Yeah, I did that too, and it made me turn red. Yes. I look like the outside of an apple. Yeah, so you got to be careful with that stuff. Yeah. So don't take pre-workout formula, unless it's beet juice or something, okay? All right, so we're almost done here, guys. Let me see. Okay, the secret weapon comes out now. It's the chiropractic adjustment, okay? So I think this is one of the most important things, not only for your overall health, but keeps you from getting injured. I was the team chiropractor for the West Texas A&M football team in Canyon, Texas. And our chiropractic office, we would go and adjust them before every game. Of course, they didn't have to get adjusted, but the kids who chose and wanted to get adjusted, could. And the 3 years that we were with that program, they had less injuries than they did any other year. The 2 kids that were the most, they stuck to their appointments schedule. They never missed a week without getting adjusted. Both of them actually got to play in the NFL. I'm not saying if I adjust you, you'll get to play in the NFL or anything. But they were adamant about staying adjusted because for them that was important. If they got injured, their career was over. And so staying adjusted can help you to get, and if you get injured, that's one thing I tell people when you go to the gym or when you exercise. If your body tells you something's hurting, just stop. Even if 10 miles was your goal, if you're hurting bad at 7, stop and just try it again the next day. Don't try to push that. That's when we start to injure ourselves. And if you injure yourself, you're out. You're out for 6-8 weeks and you can't work out. And then what happens with a habit, we get a bad habit, which is not working out, and it's because we injured ourselves. Right? So the main thing is don't injure yourself. Even take it from this guy. He gets adjusted. He says, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the way. He says, bodybuilders and fitness people have been using chiropractic very extensively in order to stay healthy and fit. I found it was better to go to a chiropractor before you get injured. We are a perfect team, the world of fitness and the world of chiropractors. Arnold Schwarzenegger, professional bodybuilder, 7-time Mr. Olympia and Mr. Universe. So if you get adjusted, you'll look like him, pretty much. Right? Yeah, you're going to be here every day, aren't you? All right, I think that's pretty much the last. Oh, I got one here. I put this in, and I've just started really put this in all my talks. Is a lot of times we don't get that gym membership because it's $30 a month that we don't want to spend. We don't pay for a good exercise ball or workout clothes or whatever it is because those things are extra costs. But who do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who's not able to do their job every day, not able to be happy, not having the fitness or the goals that you want? Or if we have the money, we need to invest it. The best place to invest it is in yourself, right? Now, this was a study Harvard did, but they found that poor health, quote-unquote, medical bills, is the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. 75% of people go bankrupt because of medical bills. The study estimates that medical bankruptcies affects 3.5 million Americans annually, including 900,000 children. And get this, in this study, they showed that 78% of these people had health insurance of some form, right? So when we're investing our money into things that make us healthier, I don't consider that an expense for my family. I do consider that an investment, right? All right, so next advanced workshop is Pure Energy. And we're going to be talking about some aspects of what is energy, where does it come from in your body, how can we maximize it so we can have more energy, be happier, achieve our goals. And we're going to be looking at energy in a lot of different ways than you're used to looking at it before. Okay? I hope tonight was valuable for you and you got something out of it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.